Today we work through the full picture, what your AI product actually costs to run, the 5 revenue models that are mapped out in the workbook, realistic price ranges, and the pricing framework that anchors your price to something more durable than what feels reasonable. I will also show in real time how to price your offer for profitability through the VAM pricing method. It is mapped specifically in chapter 7 and 8 of the AI product and income free workbook that you can find in the description. This video we will cover each detail in 4 specific sections. So let's get started. Section 1, the true cost structure. The cost structure of an AI product has 3 parts, and most builders are only tracking one of them. 1. Direct costs, what you pay per use. The API call is the most visible cost, and it is also the smallest. Depending on the model you're using and the length of your prompt and output, a single professional grade query runs somewhere between $0.003 and $0.05. That range covers the difference between a short structured generator prompt and a longer, more complex evaluator or multi-step workflow. Even at the high end of that range, the per-use cost is a fraction of a cent, which is part of why AI products carry such remarkable margins relative to most software businesses. 2. Fixed costs, what you pay every month. These are the costs that run whether anyone uses your product or not, and they tend to be more meaningful at the start, when your user base is still small and the fixed costs are not yet distributed across many customers. A domain name runs roughly $2 to $3 per month. WordPress hosting, depending on your plan, is typically $10 to $30 per month. An email platform, depending on your list size, can be anywhere from free to $25 per month in the early stages. And payment processing through Stripe carries a 2.9% fee plus 30 cents on every transaction, which is worth factoring into your pricing from the beginning rather than discovering it after your first month of revenue. 3. Hidden costs, what never shows up in a dashboard. These are the costs that matter most over time and are the most consistently underestimated. Your time, the hours spent on initial setup, ongoing maintenance, customer support conversations, and content creation to drive traffic to the product has a real value. And building without accounting for it tends to produce pricing that works at zero time cost and becomes unsustainable as the product grows. Refunds are worth planning for explicitly rather than treating as exceptions. A 1 to 3% refund rate is realistic for most digital products, and building that expectation into your financial picture from the start is more useful than being surprised by it later. And unexpected API usage spikes, which can happen when a product gains traction faster than anticipated, are worth understanding in advance so they do not become a cost surprise at the moment the product is working best. Section 2, the 5 revenue models. Chapter 7 of the workbook maps 5 revenue models with realistic price ranges grounded in what the market has actually validated, not theoretical ranges, but ranges that have been tested by real products with real buyers. Here is each one and what determines whether it is the right fit for where you are right now. Model 1, direct sale, $27 to $297. A one-time payment for access to the product or a defined number of uses. No ongoing relationship required beyond the initial purchase. The simplest model to set up, the fastest to validate, and the one the workbook recommends most consistently for a first launch. Generators, evaluators, and knowledge products all sit naturally in this range. Model 2, subscription, $29 to $197 per month. Recurring revenue with higher customer lifetime value and meaningfully more operational complexity, ongoing support, retention management, the ongoing obligation to deliver value month after month at a level that justifies the continued charge. Model 3, wrap service, $500 to $5,000 and above. You use the tool to deliver client work at a fixed price and retain the margin between what the tool costs to run and what the client pays for the outcome. The lowest technical barrier of the 5 models and the one with the highest immediate revenue potential for professionals who are already doing client work and already have existing relationships to sell into. The tool increases the speed and consistency of the work. The pricing stays anchored to the outcome, not the effort. Model 4, licensing $2,000 to $25,000. You build a system for a professional niche and then license it to practitioners in that niche, other consultants, other service providers, other professionals who want to offer what your system delivers but do not want to build it themselves. Higher ticket, smaller customer count, longer sales cycles. This model works well after a direct sale has established proof that the system produces results worth paying for. Model 5, training and authority $500 to $10,000. You teach other professionals in your field how to use AI effectively within their specific context. Workshops, cohorts, consulting engagements. Here, your expertise is the differentiator, not the tool itself, and the pricing reflects that. This model tends to grow naturally out of the credibility built by shipping and selling a real product. The product becomes evidence that the training is worth attending. Section 3, pricing against the alternative. The most persistent pricing mistake I see is starting from costs. The API call costs a fraction of a cent. That number tells you nothing meaningful about what to charge because your buyer is not paying for the API call, they are paying for the outcome. And the question they are asking, consciously or not, is whether that outcome is worth more than what they are currently doing to reach it. Chapter 8 of the workbook grounds pricing in 3 anchors, and working through all 3 for your specific product tends to produce a price that feels justified to you and defensible to the buyer. Anchor 1, time cost. How long does it take the buyer to reach this outcome without your product? A competitive analysis that takes a marketing consultant 3 hours to produce manually at a professional rate of $100 per hour represents $300 of the buyer's time. A product that produces the same analysis in 4 minutes is not competing with free, it is competing with $300 and 3 hours, and its price should reflect that. Anchor 2, money cost. What does the buyer currently pay a professional, an agency, or another service to reach the same outcome? That number is your ceiling. If a business owner pays an accountant $400 to produce a quarterly financial summary that your product generates in 2 minutes, $400 is where the ceiling sits, and a price anywhere between $60 and $280 represents clear, immediate value relative to what they are already spending. Anchor 3, opportunity cost. What does the buyer lose by not having this outcome or by getting it too slowly? Deals not closed because the follow-up arrived too late, errors not caught because the review process was too slow or too expensive, hours not reclaimed because the manual process kept running. This anchor often surfaces the largest number of the 3, and it is the one most worth sitting with even if it does not directly determine the final price. Section 4, making this practical. The VAM pricing model in the AI Productization Lab dashboard goes a layer deeper into the pricing calculation specifically. VAM stands for value, access, and market, the 3 inputs that together determine the optimal price for a specific offer. Value is the worth of the transformation your product delivers. Access is how frequently the buyer will use it and in what context. Market is the competitive range of what adjacent products charge for comparable outcomes. The VAM price is the intersection of all 3, and it tends to produce a number that is more defensible and more accurate than either cost-based or intuition-based pricing. Let me show you exactly how this works with a real example inside the AI Productization Lab. Say you build an AI proposal generator for freelance consultants. It takes a client brief and produces a full scoped proposal in under 3 minutes. You have been charging $47 for it because that felt reasonable. Here is what you enter into the VAM calculator. Your current price, $47. Cost to deliver per client, $5. Estimated monthly clients, 20. Uniqueness score 7 out of 10 because there are other proposal tools out there, but none built specifically for consultants and none that produce a structured deliverable at this level. You hit calculate. The AI productization lab returns $54 with a note that based on your uniqueness score of 7 out of 10, VM recommends increasing your price by 15%. That might not sound dramatic, but look at what that single adjustment does to your numbers. At $47, your current monthly profit is $840. At the VAM recommended $54, your optimal monthly profit becomes $936. That is $96 more every month and $1,155 more every year from changing one number on a product you have already built and are already selling. And this is with a modest uniqueness score. At 8 or 9 out of 10, the recommended increase is higher. The more differentiated you offer, the further VAM moves the price from what felt safe to what the market will actually hold. That is it, guys. I hope this video was insightful in ensuring that you price for maximum profitability. I will see you next time.